Hello, church family. I have received a few questions about ordination and our process for ordaining Luke. And so I thought I'd take a few minutes to answer 4 questions for us. The 4 questions are: what is ordination? Why does it matter? What is the process? And what's happening when? And so the first question, what is ordination? In the book of Titus, Paul instructs him to appoint elders in all the cities. In all the churches, appoint pastors. And he gives a list of character qualifications, and then he says he must hold firm to the trustworthy word as taught, so that he may be able to give instruction in sound doctrine and to rebuke those who contradict. And so ordination is the formal process by which the church accomplishes this. The church examines and recognizes an individual's calling and qualifications for ministry. It's a recognition that God has indeed set this individual apart for the work of ministry. And so the process of ordination begins with the church deciding they want to ordain an individual, that they see somebody with ministry qualifications and gifts and wants to recognize them and call them to the ministry. And so the church examines the candidates, first of all, their call to ministry, their character, their qualifications, and their beliefs. And this examination happens in a number of steps. The first is that the candidate writes a doctrinal paper that summarizes his call to ministry, his qualifications, and his beliefs. The church then reviews this document and asks questions. And they ask questions to gain clarity, to answer things that are unclear, but then also to see how the individual handles God's word. So then the church also calls an ordination council. And an ordination council is a group of pastors of like-minded churches who examine the candidate to assess their readiness for ministry. It's very similar to the examination of the church, but it's from pastors who are going to ask maybe some little different questions, a little more theological questions. And then the council makes a recommendation to the church. So the church examines them, the council examines them, the council makes a recommendation to the church. And then the church takes into account what they have learned and what the council recommends, and they vote on whether or not to ordain the man. And then the vote to ordain is followed by an ordination service and a celebration. The service consists of a charge to the newly ordained man and a charge to the church. And the charge to the man and the charge to the church are about the responsibilities that they both have to God and to one another. And so the church leaders then, after the vote, after the affirmations, after the charges, the church leaders then lay hands on the man to symbolize God's work of setting him apart for the work of the ministry. And then after the service, they celebrate God's work together. And so when is all of this happening? Well, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, the church that we are going to examine Luke. We've sent his paper to you and given you opportunity to send questions. And so I encourage you to check your weekly update to find that information and to be able to read his paper. It's well done. And then to send us questions. And many of you have already been doing that. And then we also know tomorrow night, we're not sure what the weather's going to do, but we're going to notify you tomorrow by 4:15 if there are any weather issues. If you don't hear from us tomorrow, just assume we're going to have it. But the weather, we want to let you know that we are considering that. Then, assuming on the 6th, after the 6th happens on Wednesday, January 15th, from 10 to around 12, that's when the church is going to host a group of pastors for the ordination council. So tomorrow night, the church examines Luke. On Wednesday, the 15th, the pastors examine Luke. And then on Sunday, January 19th, in the morning service, the church will vote to ordain Luke. We'll vote whether or not to do that. And so we'll take in the recommendation of the council, recognize what we have learned. And again, this is really indeed a formal process, and it's a substantive, meaty process, but we're also confident that we would not bring Luke to this point and set him before the church and to these group of pastors if we didn't think he was ready. So we're confident that he's going to do a great job, but we still need to walk through the process. And so Sunday morning we're going to vote, and I'm confident that vote's going to go well. And then Sunday night, assuming things do go well, on January 19th, we're at 6 o'clock, we're going to have an ordination service in the auditorium, followed by a celebration in the gym. We'll have some cake and some refreshments, and just to be able to celebrate God's work in Luke's life. So that's ordination. That's some of the what's, whens, hows, all of that. If you have any questions about this, send me an email, or you can just ask me questions tomorrow. So, church family, I'm excited about this. I trust you are too. This is a big deal. And so I really encourage you, unless you're providentially hindered, to make an effort to be here for this tomorrow night. And then again on the 19th to be able to work through this examination and celebration together. Well, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. May God bless you.